Welcome to Bria Technical Academy. Today we're going to be going over parameters and SSRS. First, we're going to start off with static parameters, and it's going to be our tables. DBO staff. As you can see, we have our columns here, and we're going to be using the department column for our parameter. Now let's go into creating our report. Add new item, report, and we're just going to call this static parameter. Let's add it. Let's grab our data source. Our data set is going to be embedded. Let's go into SQL Server, period, because we're going to the local instance. AdventureWorks 2012, test the connection. Okay. All right, and I always have to go back because there's like a bug in my version. So I have to switch it from SQL Server authentication to Windows authentication. And we're good. Now let's go into adding our data set, embedded, data source one. All right, select all from DBO dot staff where department equals at. And this is going to set us up for our parameter department. Okay. All right, now let's set up a data set for the values of our parameter, which is department. So we're going to select our data source. All right, select distinct department from DBO dot staff. What this does with the distinct, it's gonna allow us to actually this doesn't really matter really because we're not doing a drop down. So, but we're just gonna leave it. But you could have just done select department. Typically, like if you're doing a non-static to where like there's a drop down, and I'll show you later, you would use distinct to avoid repeats in the drop down. But since we're manually putting it in, it doesn't really matter to put in the distinct. So DB staff, okay. Now let's go. As you can see, we have our parameter here, and actually let's rename the data set that we just created, so we don't get our data sets confused because we didn't name the first one. We're just gonna call this DEPT for department. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's set up our canvas. Let's configure our department parameter. Okay, where it says available values, we want to select specify value. And basically, what specify value means is that we're going to have to type in our parameter or the input for our parameter. Okay, you could pretty much do a myriad of things in here depending on what your end goal is. But the main thing is to know how to use your tools. All right, so no, not this one. Let's go to the first data set. The first data set, we're just going to grab columns from ID, last name, job title, and we're going to grab department so we could test what we've done. Department, okay. Job title, department, okay. All right, let's preview. As you can see, this is what I meant by static parameter. It will require you to manually type in the input for your parameter. And let's see what departments we have. Let's just type in toys. Toys, view report, and it'll show you all the columns that's in your table for the toys department. Let's try another one. Let's try clothing. Clothing, view report, and it's going to show you all the rows for clothing. Okay, and this is called a static parameter report. Now let's go and do a single value report. And basically, what single value is going to do is it's going to show you the department, and it's going to give you the drop down to where you can select. You could hit the drop down and select your department instead of manually inputting it. So basically, you do everything you've done, and this is where I was talking about the department part, where when you wrote your query, you selected distinct. What distinct does in this situation, to where there's a drop down, it shows you distinct departments instead of you having to see the same departments over and over again and the drop down. So you just select distinct, and also you could put in the order by one. And what that does is it orders it in an ascending order. Ascending is the default, but you could type in ascending, but there's no need because that's the default. Unless you want to descend, then you would explicitly type out this descending. But for now, we're good. And let's go back into our parameter. Let's go back into our parameter, and where it says available values, you go in there and you select instead of the specified values that we selected that gave us our our static parameter. We're going to select this time get values from a query, and we're going to select for our uh, parameter the department data set depth, the value, the department field, and next to our drop down, we wanted to say department. We're selecting that. Okay, and also let's go back into our depart. Also, what you have to do after you've made any type of updates to your query, you want to always hit refresh fields to make sure everything is processed. Now let's go to preview. As you can see, this time we have a drop down, and this is called a single value parameter. This is our single value parameter. It shows you a single option that you can select. Now, if you want to select more than like one option, I'm going to show you how to do that. See, as you can see, we select the automotive, and it's going to give us all the rows for automotive. The report with all the rows for automotive. If you select computers, it's going to show you a report for all the rows and computers. And this is our single valued parameter. Now, let's go back into design. This time we want to do a multi-valued parameter. And this is how it's done. You just go into department, available values, default values, general. Okay. So you go back and you go to general and you select allow multiple values. Allow multiple values. Available values you want to keep the same for as it was a single value. And let's go into preview. Now you have the option to select more than one IT. So we selected IT, beauty, and automotive. All right, let's just do. I think we may have overwhelmed the report. Uh, baby and automotive. Pre execution failed for data set one, incorrect syntax near. Strive your report. Automotive is showing us automotive. Baby. Hmm. All right, let's go back into our department parameters. Parameter. Let's see. Get values from a query. Department. That general. Allow multiple values. Department. Multiple values. Okay, I see what we did. Uh, the error is in our data set, and I probably should have recreated the reports to show you each example of different type of parameters. But the issue is here. And equal means that there's a singular value. So we have to, for our original data set, we need n because we're going to be dealing with more than one value. So n department. There we go. Let's refresh it. Preview. Let's do automotive and baby. There we go. There you go. Yeah, I probably should have created a report to show you how to do the single valued, the multi valued, and the static value parameter. But nonetheless, we got there, and you see how it's done. If you want to select more than a single value, just to go back, what you would do is make sure the query is written correctly to where you have n, because there is a possibility of you selecting more than one. So do that, and also in configuring your parameter, you want to make sure you go into general and allow multiple values, and that's pretty much it. All right, thank you for attending this class. Have a good day.